Today I'm going to give my presentation on my Capstone research project. The topic of my research project is about emotive expressions by living architecture, create emotional association between human and artificially intelligent space. Architecture has long been interpreted by its functionality as physical construction and spatial utilization, all of which are sculpted by humans and exist on human terms. While the development of architecture and its related technology continues to advance, the perception of architecture and of space is becoming more fluid, with a shift of viewpoints from human inhabitants to the architecture presence itself. Architecture gains a more sentient, lively presence, which possesses the potentiality of communicating with humans on a higher level, both physically and intelligently. The main idea of the research, therefore, is to make architecture come alive, speculating on an artificially intelligent space capable of curiosity and even empathy, and thus to allow for a new perception of human-architecture relationship through creative configuration of art, media, and technology. The research is strongly driven by Ballard's The Southern Dreams of Vista and the installation work of Sentient Architecture by researcher and artist Philip Beasley. Both works focus on the sentient aspects of an architecture and how architecture is able to gain its initiation in terms of emotional communication. Topics brought up in these two works, such as artificial intelligence, affective expression, and sensory communication, and how these all can be combined and extended to create a new conversation between architecture and its inhabitants, led to my research question that how can an artificially intelligent space be understood as living sentient beings and invoke emotional association with people, and how to create expressions for such a space to facilitate empathy making interaction between people and space? To get a comprehensive and critical understanding toward the topics, the methodology I took are employed to study existing perceptions, theories, and practices regarding human architecture relationship. Em- empirical research and literature reviews are conducted in support of each other to form a holistic overview to identify holistic overview of existing thoughts on the role architecture play regarding human perception, and also to identify the possibilities for an architectural space to have emotive expression. Interviews are conducted as a primary information collection method to understand the public opinion on relevant matters, such as the inhabitants' perception of architectural space, the level of their awareness towards effective communication, and the potentiality for such communication to be transferred into an inhabitant space. Interviewees are not only required to provide answers based on their existing knowledge or experience of an architectural space, but also are invited to imagine about the potentiality of future extent for an architectural space to become alive, and how that liveness can be realized by inhabitants through some certain expressions to reach a certain level of emotional attunement. From the information extracted from the interviews, it can be realized that while emotional communication between people and their environment is usually not aware of, human emotions can actually be easily projected to objects or no other beings if the objects possess certain behaviors or expressions that indicates its liveness and mental statements, which can have a lot related to artificial intelligence. And therefore, these findings I find directly informs my practice in the next semester. That is to create interactive architectural space with effective expressions that can transform according to its sensed conditions, and thus allows for emotional projection on its present from the participants. To achieve the goal, there are a few steps I need to take. Firstly, I'll go to do case studies that takes reference from psychology and nature to collect and identify behaviors that can inform emotions, and based on the results from previous conceptual research as well as case studies, prototypes represent different effective expressions are to be built, both as a test and also as a prompt for the next a round of interview or user testing to testify the effectiveness of effective expression. So this is my capstone research project and my progress so far. Thank you for listening, and please let me know if you have any comments.